Hello, and welcome to the South Dakota Sports Lounge. I'm Drew Trafton, filling in for John Gaskins, who is on assignment, but you're going to see plenty of John and our other regular contributors throughout the show. It's a good one. We're calling this one the Media Day Special, and that's because we're spending the bulk of our time today at the Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day, which was held this week in Sioux Falls. But we're also going to be taking you out to Vegas, baby. Dom Izzo is out at the Mountain West Conference Media Days in Las Vegas. We're going to start with our regular cohort of Jackrabbits Lounge football hosts, Matt Zimmer and John Gaskins from Sioux Falls Live, and Marcus Traxler from the Mitchell Republic. They got a chance to sit down with Dan Jackson and the SDSU Jackrabbits first thing in the morning at MVFC Media Day. This is part of our live stream from that morning, which was presented by First International Bank and Trust.
Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day from the Pentagon in Sioux Falls. We are live on KSFL TV, SiouxFallsLive.com, and Midwest Sports Plus. And over the next few hours, you're going to hear from coaches and players from every single MVFC team. We'd like to thank our sponsor, First International Bank and Trust, for making this all possible. And without further ado, let's introduce the two men you'll be hearing from most consistently all day, veterans of the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Matt Zimmer from Sioux Falls Live, Marcus Traxler from the Mitchell Daily Republic. And we're just going to lead this thing off right away and dive right into it with our first guests of honor. They're from South Dakota State University, and we'll deliver some news live on a Tuesday at 9 a.m. They are the Missouri Valley Football Conference favorites, the preseason favorites of 2026. The poll is out, and it's by a wide margin. 28 of 36 first-place votes go to the Jackrabbits, who were 9-5 last year, 4-4 in the league, and bounced in the round of 16 under first-year head coach Dan Jackson. Great to have you guys here. Dan, I know you're a little bit more excited about what you're doing later in the day than being here, but it's nice to have you here.
You got me fired up that intro. How long did you take to prepare that? You're
I may have rehearsed it on a longer than normal drive.
It's also 100 degrees outside, so it fits.
Yeah.
That was well done, buddy.
Well, I try.
No, we're excited to be here. Really excited to have Chase and Logan with us to be able to represent us, and excited about the honor of being picked first. Truly, preseason rankings don't mean a whole lot to us. I couldn't tell you where we were picked a year ago, and it's going to be about how we play on Saturdays. But excited about being here, and appreciate you guys investing in the day.
Well, guys, let's get right to it. Being picked first in the league, Coach just said preseason predictions only mean so much, but what does it mean to you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it's something you can look at. It's pretty cool to have the respect from people in the conference like that. So I think that's as far as it goes for me. And at the end of the day, and at the end of the day, it gets decided on the field. When anybody can win this conference. There's a lot of talented teams out here. So yeah.
Logan, I was just going to say, you and I talked in the spring about how hungry this football team is, especially for veterans like yourself who've been here a long time. When you get that, the poll comes out, it's media day, it kind of is like, okay, we're almost to the season. Just sort of what's the mindset like, the attitude of the team as the season's coming close and all that stuff you've talked about, being hungry for a championship. It's about to get going.
Yeah, and you just got to take it day by day, every workout, every run, day by day, and make sure that you're, doing what you got to do to make sure when you do get to the season, you are fully prepared. So that's the thing we've been focused on all summer is, making sure when the day does come, we are prepared, because we have to be better than last year, and we will.
You talked about guys like yourself that have been there for such a long time. You admitted we're putting pressure on ourselves. There's pressure to go out and accomplish those goals. How do you manage that as far as wanting to have that pressure on yourself, wanting to have those expectations, but not letting it become overwhelming to where it, inhibits you?
Pressure is a privilege, just like anything you do in life. If there is no pressure on you, then you're doing something wrong. So I think when we go through every day and we have the high expectations and standards that we do have, that's a pressure. The privilege that we have to do that, I wouldn't ask for any other way, honestly.
Dan, how would you look at the motivating, coming off of last season? Is it a lot of the players driving it themselves? Are the coaches driving it? What's your viewpoint on sort of what that balance should be? And I guess how much do you try to, not burn yourselves out before the first game?
Yeah, truly even finishing up on the preseason ranking, the cool thing about our program is nobody from the outside will be able to put a standard that's higher than what we have every single day when we walk into the weight room or the field. So we're able to embrace those things. There really isn't pressure in our program because there's a clear expectation and standard that we win a national title and that we win every single Saturday. So I think the boys are comfortable and used to that, and the staff. And then looking back a year ago, there are a lot of positives. And to me, when I reflect on that, a lot of the positives came off the field. Our culture not only maintained but strengthened. We became really close. We were a gritty, tough team. We fought through a lot of adversity, and that laid a foundation. But the truth of it is the football wasn't good enough, and we didn't coach well enough. We didn't play well enough, and there was some details on Saturdays that didn't look like South Dakota State football, and that's okay because we learned a lot from that, and now we can take what we have in the locker room and the brotherhood and the family and the connection, and then we are going to translate it on Saturday with how we play and execute with the discipline, physicalness, and connection that we play with. So we're excited. We won't run out of steam. I promise you that. There's plenty of motivation to go around, and truly there's a chip on the shoulder of every coach and player in the building.
Chase, how's the summer gone? I mean, I know you guys are able to do a lot of kind of self-coaching workouts and stuff. Almost everybody's here, I know, at this point. Just how's the summer gone? How do you feel like the kind of progress you've made?
Yeah, it's been super fun just being up there with the guys. I mean, we're the only people on campus pretty much. There's some basketball players and everything, but it's basically football guys up there all summer. So it's a good time to bond and, like, continue to build the culture, like Coach said. It's stronger than it's ever been. So I'm super pumped up for this year and the guys we have. It's a super good group. So
you finally got a chance to be QB1 last year after a long wait, and you played very well, and then you got hurt. Obviously, we've gone over that ad nauseum, but how motivated are you? How driven are you for this year? Because obviously there's a lot at stake for you and the team.
Yeah, I'm just super excited to play a season with the guys we have. I love the senior class that we have this year, and we got a great group of guys, and obviously nobody wants to get hurt, but injuries are going to happen, and I think my job for this year is like getting guys prepared that maybe last year there wasn't as many guys prepared when injuries happen, and that you could see that lead on further in the year, but getting the rest of the team up to the standard because we need to raise the floor, and we know how high our ceiling can be, and we have the most talented team that we could ever want, and Coach has done a great job recruiting. So I feel like the job this summer is to kind of raise that floor up. So when injuries happen and things happen in the season like they are going to, this can't go around that. It's those guys that need to step up. There's going to be guys on the team that need to step up this year, and that's what the summer's for. It's been a great summer.
Chase, you came into this program your first couple of years. You're watching a front seat view of Mark Gronowski leading the Jacks to a couple national championships. And as Matt said, then you get your first go at it last year. And, of course, the off-season, people were wondering, are you coming back for your senior year? Because Mark took a whole lot of money and played at a really high level at the University of Iowa. We've certainly documented that your decision to stay, but what have you seen from your teammates, your coaches on and off the field or the community in the last several months? That I know you're going to say you feel pretty good about that decision, but what have you seen specifically that really makes you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, I just love Brookings. I don't see myself really going anywhere else and picking up my whole life and starting somewhere new. That's what it really came down to. I love Brookings, and no amount of money could really change my decision there. So, and then the guys in the locker room, like I've said before, you can't beat the guys we have, and I love the guys on the team. So, community of Brookings is super special. I love Brookings, so it's been a great time in Brookings, and I want to finish it there. So.
Dan, you've got a week 0 game. Almost everybody in the league has a week 0 game now, which is somewhat new to this conference and to SDSU. What's different about the run-up to that game? I think you guys can start practice a little earlier. How will you sort of manage that? What's different about that process?
Really, I think they should stop calling it week 0. We're going to have to play 12
I agree.
all the time anyway, so
Yeah.
it's a little unique to me. I usually end up saying week 1 just because I think that way. It's our first game. But, no, we'll start July 29th to get the guys back, so technically maybe a little bit sooner than some teams that don't. The critical part of our schedule was to get 12 Division I football games, and I appreciate the work that our administration did and that our staff put in and really utilized a lot of our connections to be able to make that happen. That was not an easy process, but I didn't want the players to play a Division II game. We weren't going to play 11 games, and we certainly didn't want to have a situation where our bye fell in a unique position. So really excited about the schedule. Really isn't going to matter to me too much of who we play this week. This year it's going to be every Saturday we've got a game and we got to go. So we're looking forward to getting going on July 29th. It'll be a lot of fun.
Well, we can't wrap it up without asking about the team that isn't here this year, North Dakota State. I mean, we have to address the elephant in the room. How do you address that?
First, I appreciate, because last night I met with these guys and I talked to them about which questions they're going to get answered, and you've asked and you've asked every one of them. So,
that predictable?
Yeah, I would. No, I'm just giving you a hard time. I would say two things. First, do we want to play that rivalry? Certainly. Would I love to play that game in the future? Certainly. Did we try to get that game on our schedule still this year? Definitely. But they made a decision. What I'm grateful for is the decision that we've made is we all want to play for a national title. Look at our conference. Look at the talent and the coaching and the depth of our conference. In a lot of ways, I think this is the best conference, one of the best in the country, certainly one of the best in our region, and I'm just grateful to be playing in that conference and have an opportunity to win a national title. That's something that I was not able to do as an assistant. These guys have one, but I know they want one for themselves, leading the team too. So it's a lot of fun, and it's motivating to be able to play for a national title.
How long had you been practicing that answer?
Just came up with that. I'm a little bit go with the gut here, John. I'm a go with the gut guy. I'm not too scripted.
Head coach Dan Jackson, quarterback Chase Mason, and defensive tackle Logan Green. Jackrabbits opening home against Stetson on August 29th. Thanks for kicking us off, guys. We appreciate it.
All right, you Coyote fans are probably wondering, what about our guys? Well, our live stream did pick up a full interview with those guys, and you can watch that on your own on our live stream at MidwestSportsPlus.com or SiouxFallsLive.com. But John Gaskins also got a really interesting opportunity. Throughout the day, he had a chance to call out the coaches one-on-one as they were passing by, and he got some good sit-down interviews, including one with the guy now heading USD's football program.
Well, here we go with the guy with the second-best jacket at Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day. He's Matt Vitztham, the head coach of the USD Coyotes, and man, I mean, I know you've gotten comments already. So, I mean, what have you heard so far?
Yeah, I've had a lot of comments, which my goal was to make sure everybody talked about this and not what I was saying today. So the goal it's worked. It's been achieved. So, yeah, I'm not much of a dress-up guy, so I credit my wife for this.
That's
so,
even better.
Yeah,
that is way better. That's head coaching PR 101, by the way. A little smoke and mirrors.
That's right, baby. Right.
I mean, you haven't been a head coach, but it feels like you've done this thing a time or two. Did you get some advice?
I've watched a lot of these.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of these. I know what not to do, I think.
Okay.
As much as what to do. So,
all right.
yeah.
What would be the what not to do?
Don't talk about any other programs, any other schools. Talk about yourself.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to focus on today.
Okay.
Right?
You control the narrative with the interviewer even more so. Just grab a hold of it within the first 2 minutes. No, I will control the narrative because we're going back to that jacket. You said you're a big fan. Are you a big fan of Brockmeyer? Because the Hank Azaria, Major League Baseball, a fictitious play-by-play announcer, 4 years, dark comedy, very crass. A laugh-a-thon for me. And I found a brother in you with this.
It is very good.
Yes.
I did not watch it live, so it came out on Netflix, I think, like a year ago.
Yes.
And, just one of those late nights trying to get my mind off of becoming the new head coach. It was like, all right, I'll try this. And I got sucked in pretty good. So, yeah.
That'll do the trick.
Yeah,
that show will take you to a bunch of other places.
Yeah.
A bunch of other places.
I know it's good when you're watching it and your wife's like, what are you laughing at? And it's like, I can't help it. It's a good one.
I'd love to ask you your favorite line, but I don't know if that's possible. We're not live on TV like the guys next to us, but this is a family show.
Yeah.
But your jacket is close to the trademark, red and black, for Brockmeyer. Okay. What have been the most common asked questions today for you? Top two.
Yeah, I would say obviously, how's the starting quarterback competition going?
Yep.
And how has the first 6-7 months been as the head coach?
Yeah.
So
there you
those
go.
are the top two right
okay,
now.
and I asked you those questions about 3 months ago.
Yeah.
There's probably been some developments, but and I'm going to talk to you again before the season starts. But okay, how did the season end with the 3-horse quarterback race? I'm sure you've picked a winner, and you're ready to tell us all this right now.
I'm not going to break it today. Sorry.
Have you really picked a winner?
We have not.
Okay.
No. We're going to head in here, I think, by the end of kind of that first week, 5-8 practices in, we're going to talk about moving a guy kind of into that role and taking all of the reps with the ones.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of been our plan for the first 5-6 months here is, it's been pretty open.
Yeah.
See if a guy can really kind of take a hold of it and keep that job. So like where we're at, continue to say that, like who we've surrounded them with, more importantly.
Yeah.
And just to continue to reiterate, we don't need you to be Aiden Bauman. Be yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that'll be plenty good with those 3 guys.
You had a few practices, several practices after we last talked. And if there's not like one guy overall that emerged, what did you see? If you want to go through them, bing, bing, bing.
Yeah.
How would you evaluate what you saw, especially the positives from each guy spring practice?
Yeah, I think Nevin Cremascoli. Like I know what we know what we're gonna get with Nevin, right? And there's a certain level of comfort with that, right? And there's that consistency factor of who he is, right? Austin Majeski, the freshman, would be a redshirt freshman next year. He's got that wow factor. You know what I mean? He's got a big arm. He's going to make some big plays, just kind of honing in on, limiting the damage of a freshman, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be key for him in kind of this race. And then Jackson Proctor, for him, his legs, right? His ability to run the football and our ability as a staff to adapt to that type of quarterback. That's kind of the 3 things I would say kind of coming out of that we think we know about those 3 guys right now.
Yeah, and again, I'll bring up a question, but maybe there's a developed answer from 3 months ago. How are you gonna with 3 different? It feels like 3 different skill sets.
Yep.
But you also want to have an offense. You have a playbook, so you have an offense. So. Do you fit the quarterback to the offense? Do you fit the offense to the quarterback that you're going to pick?
I think
you can't start from scratch.
There's a little bit of both to that. Obviously, we're going to have the ability to run the football at South Dakota. Like that's in our DNA. We believe that's how you win football games.
Yeah.
And then really trying to find the strength of that quarterback and bring it out, right, schematically. And that's why I talked to you a little bit about early on in camp, trying to make a decision so we as a staff can really start to put that plan together for that guy. Right, because it will be a different plan for each of them. They each have a different skill set. So that's our plan right now. I know we've talked more this summer about what we're going to do schematically in offense than we probably have in a really long time. So we're ready for it. I'm ready for that to play out here in the first, like I said, week or 2 of fall camp and move forward.
We were talking about what you're going to do, just general approach and philosophy, or – what do you mean by that?
I think, how to incorporate the quarterback into your run game, right, and how much to do it. This is a very physical football league, right? Yeah. Like, you can't have that guy having 20 carries a game, but you can't just, hey, we're only going to run him in the big games or the big situations. You can't do that to him, right? Yeah. You've got to have that ability to maneuver through when and how to utilize his legs. One kid might be better using his legs off a drop-back pass. He can extend a play and scramble around. Yeah. Another one might be, hey, he's +1 in the quarterback run game. So we're figuring that out. I think we've got a great plan for each guy to bring out their strengths. But once we make that decision, then it's all in and all steam ahead on that.
All right. And then, of course, I have to ask you about Charles Pierre. It was back in the spring. Correct me if I'm wrong. It kind of felt like, hey, he's getting to practice again, but he can't really go full throttle. He's still trying to learn what he can and can't do. You want to be careful. But again, how'd the last stretch of practice go? And more importantly, how's that leg now?
He's good. He's ready to go. Obviously, LJ had an unbelievable season last year, and he's gotten a lot of credit and, all of those things. I think Charles and Keandre are both ready, kind of itching for their turn.
Yeah.
Just like any great player, when you sit and watch, you learn a lot, and I think you also are very, very anxious to get back out there. And I think both Charles and Key are both very, very anxious, and we're going to have to utilize both those guys because they're dynamic playmakers that can change a game in a hurry.
It's going to be fun to see Key, man. I mean, he's a rock and roller for sure.
Yeah.
I can't imagine some of the damage you guys could have done if he was just a little more healthy last year.
Yep.
And we've talked about the defense, Chris Dixon, and just as we've mentioned, buried a little bit because he doesn't get a lot of the tackles. Yep. But what do you guys see him do that is so dominant and special, and particularly what do offensive linemen he squares up against experience?
I think Chris Dixon is – I've told you this before. He's one of the most underappreciated people in our building and in our league, right?
Yeah.
The refusal to be blocked by one person is incredible. You're going to have to take two guys, which if you take two on him, frees up a backer or frees up another D lineman, right? So he has been that steady force in there that plays down in, down out. A guy of that size, his durability, right, his conditioning level, it's second to none. And it's really, really what sets the tone for our defense. Nobody has an appreciation for that unless you're in that film room and you understand exactly what he's doing and how he's doing it. So he's really, really at the forefront. But I think our defensive line is going to be incredible this season. I think we can go 7-8 deep at that position. There's some new faces. There's some old faces, some guys that have really developed. So I think we got a chance to be really good in the trenches, which that's where we want to be built and where you have to be built in this league.
You know, it's tough for me to sometimes ask these questions in this setting because I asked some of these back in spring. Some people heard them, some didn't. I mean, it's been 3 months. People don't remember. But a very important part of this equation is obviously, yes, you as a first-time head coach, but more so the decisions you're making in a game as the guy now, particularly fourth down. Are you going to – I know it depends on where the field is, where on the field you are, to punt, to go for it. It leaned more conservative in the last year with Travis. You had a great defense, so that's great. But with you, where are you coming out right now and how you're going to dial into those situations?
Yeah, I think just trying to do the best I can to have a feel for what's going on in the football game, right? That isn't, I think a really, really poor decision to be go into a game and say, hey, we're going for it on fourth down, right? If we're dominating the line of scrimmage and our backs are continuously falling forward and we're moving, we're going to go for it on fourth down, right? But if we've shown, hey, we're getting some knockback and we're not moving the line of scrimmage and they're moving us, then maybe the decision is to punt it away. So I think, stepping back, not calling plays, right, and having a sense of where the game is and the feel of what's going on in the game, and not letting my emotion get the best of me. I am probably a little bit more emotional than Travis and Bob. I yelled at the officials way too much as an assistant, so I've got to keep that under control. But, looking forward to that. I really am, those decisions. And just like, a player, you have to get into a game to do it, right? I wish I could tell you there's going to be a magic thing that I could do, but it's going to be going out there and getting the experience.
Well, be Saturday. Yourself. Have some fun on that sideline there. We'll get the camera on you, and we'll get the Vitz cam going. Yes, you've answered a zillion questions about being the new head coach and a first-time head coach. How have you seen players respond to you, and maybe, of course, defensive guys because you weren't around them as much, but respond to you differently? What are you feeling from them?
Yeah, there is a sense, just like anything when you become the boss, right? There is a sense a little bit of more looking up, and it's like I've really tried to avoid that. I think what got me into this position was the relationships that I had built with players. So making sure, and this is very hard, and I think I've learned this from all the head coaches last night, having the ability to talk to them, not getting bogged down with all of the other things and still making sure the players are the priority.
Go
ahead.
What do you feel like is the most under-talked about sneaky thing that you have going on right now that you're really excited to see pop?
You're saying, that's exciting that our team's going to have?
A play or an aspect, a position group.
I really think both sides of the ball, it may not pop, but I think our offensive line is going to be much improved. We were pieced together pretty poorly there last year. We made it work. And I think our defensive line, I think watching those two go at it in spring practice was huge. Super excited about where we're at there. I do think one guy that I'll tell you that I think is primed for a really good season is Braden White. He's a receiver. We saved his red shirt last year, which we didn't have to do now with the 5-for-5, but excited to watch him. He's a very, very dynamic player that's going to bring a lot of excitement in that dome.
Okay, have you seen the preseason poll?
I have.
Where are you guys again?
We're fifth.
You're fifth. How do you feel about that?
The cliche thing would be to say it doesn't matter and, we're focused on us. But, there is a sense of, that's what people in our league think of us. We're fifth. We're coming off of 3 straight playoff appearances, more Missouri Valley wins than anybody in here. So,
there's sole second place last year.
There is a sense of, hey, the lack of respect in Vermilion is real, and we play to that, right? That's who we are. That's who I am. I know there's doubts and concerns about me, about our quarterback. But that's who we are. We're a chip on the shoulder, blue-collar team, and we'll play into that.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
The natural question was going to, yes, are you going to lean into that?
Absolutely.
And you are.
Yeah.
Has there been a consistent lean into that anyway in your time there?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to go out and earn the respect of this league.
Yeah.
Has been virtually every season I've sat in the team room, that's what it's been, because this is where we're pretty much consistently picked, right? Yeah. We're never ahead of the other Dakotas, right? Somebody always has a better quarterback than us, and they just place us down there in the kind of the middle, and we just say, hey, let's go earn some respect. Yeah. And the only way to really earn the respect, you can talk about it and say this and that, hang it in somebody's locker, but you got to go out between those white lines, and you got to be about it. And I think I got a group of guys in that locker room that's about it, and we're excited to go show it.
What kind of momentum have you been feeling in the community? I mean, if you're out and about, when you're out and about, of the anticipation for not just the football season starting, but where things are headed?
Yeah, I think right now, as an athletic department, there is an extreme amount of excitement of where we're going. Right, we're playing in a lot more meaningful games, a lot more impactful games, and we are starting to have some conversations that I don't think have been had there about national tournaments and national championships and things like that. And pressure is a privilege, right? I mean, it's starting to be a little bit more pressure in Vermilion than there ever has to get some things done, which is great. We've earned that. But the community's great. They're behind us. Yeah. They support us. I've told you this from the jump. I love our community. I love Vermilion. It's really kind of who I am, and that's how I grew up. Yeah. So, they're all in. I can tell you that. Their expectations are higher than ever.
Hey, by the way, one last one. You mentioned the coaches got together last night, players. What kind of event was that? What was the setting, and what was
so the coaches, we went out and had dinner together.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm the new guy at the end of the table.
Oh, come on.
I wanted to make sure there wasn't a ninth green at 9, Happy Gilmore, or some meeting I wasn't supposed to be at.
Yeah.
But the players, they went to the golf deal there on the end of town.
Okay.
Had dinner. Guy said it was awesome to interact with.
Did they go to Great Shots?
Great Shots.
Okay, very good.
Yep. We didn't go. We got to go do dinner, so it was great. All the head coaches in here have been awesome to me, what I mean, as the kind of the new. I told them, I'm like, this is the third guy now in 3 years that you guys have had to sit with, so hopefully we can make it a few more than one.
Yeah, well, good. And you felt right at home, right? You're comfortable in that?
Yes and no.
Are you comfortable in those situations?
Yeah, I mean, we'll make it work. Yeah,
okay.
Yep. Need a little bit more experience in those situations, but we're going that direction.
Does bourbon help?
Old-fashioned helps.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's right. You're the old-fashioned guy. Okay. Some of these guys are straight, like Brock Spack. Straight bourbon.
Yeah.
Travis Johansson, straight bourbon.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. Let's get a little
something in there.
Come on, let's get a little. It's okay to put a little sugar in there.
I agree.
Not too much.
Yep.
Hey, appreciate it. Thank you very much for doing
this.
Thank you.
Thanks for as always. Thank you. Yep.
Matt Fitztham, head coach of USD.
To a different city now on a different media day for a different conference. Don Mizzo took his show Hot Mic on the road live to Las Vegas, where the Bison, the NDSU Bison, were participating in that event for the very first time. Dom sat down with Assistant Commissioner John Sullivan of the Mountain West Conference to talk about how the conference played a role in helping the Bison skip that probationary period to become bowl eligible.
Old Trapper Mountain West Media Days, getting ready to rock and roll here. Just under a half hour, the Commissioner of the Mountain West, Gloria Navarez, will address the assembled media. We'll hear from her coming up then, and we'll hear from a few of the Bison players coming up in our second hour. Really pleased to be joined by the Associate Commissioner of the Mountain West Conference, Mr. John Sullivan. He's going to start charging me for the amount of times he's been on. He's been a frequent guest since NDSU has officially been joined the league. It's great to see you. It's here. I feel like this is like the official kickoff to get going for the new season.
Yeah, I feel like whenever we get to football media days, all the prep that comes into this, and once you get through it, football season's here.
Right?
Yep.
Describe the run-up on this. We talked back in February when you came to Fargo about the anticipation of adding 3 new members in. What has the work been like to come to this location, a new spot for you guys, and to welcome in, I think, as much media as you had here last year with 2 less teams?
Yep, that's exactly right. Because there's a lot of excitement around the league. It's a new era of the Mountain West. There's a lot of momentum that we're really feeling. So, we have a great team here, the Mountain West, and led by Stuart Buchanan, who is managing our media days here.
Yeah.
And everybody has a role. Everybody puts in the work, and it's turning out really good. We have a great partnership with the Palms, and that really helps as well.
I know that's a new agreement you have with the Palms as well. Describe that about working hand in hand with them.
Yeah, no, it's we are partnering with them from a hotel perspective. For football media days, basketball media days, our basketball championships here in Las Vegas. So, we'll have as our kind of staff HQ and bring all of our other volunteers and other personnel here too. It's great.
I know for people that are going to see going on here today, the broadcast networks are here, the national broadcast networks from CBS, Fox, and the CW. Can you explain what their exact roles here are today in anticipation of obviously the broadcast coming up in August?
Yeah, it's really different based on the network, and kind of going through the car wash type with it, right, with the players and the coaches tomorrow. A lot of them will take, recordings, cam footage for the broadcast later on in the season. Some others, we've got the talent here too that are really starting to get used to our teams, starting to get used to our players, starting to get used to our coaches. So for more familiarization with that, I think is, it's really different by partner though.
I think it's really interesting, John. There's kind of a unique connection with North Dakota State leaving FCS as the big bad bully there. Boise State has left, who was the big bad bully of your league over the last 25 years. Describe that of how different does it feel without the members that have been here and with the new ones coming in?
I think we're more focused just on the new era of Mountain West. Going forward, we have a lot of great institutions, right? And our legacy schools, our new schools coming in, with North Dakota State, NIU, and UTEP coming into the league. I think there's some true just building excitement, building momentum for this season, but not just for the season, right? We're going, we're thinking 5 years ahead, 10 years ahead. What's for the Mountain West? But we have our legacy schools have built a foundation that truly, I think the Mountain West is going to really truly succeed.
So we last talked, I think it was the end of May when the TV schedules came out. Feedback from that, and interested to see what the response was from fans of seeing who was picked where, and the fact that the entire 12-week or 13-week schedule was put out at once.
Yeah. It's a process, right? We talked about, right, from building the foundation and the composite schedule and the base schedule, then to working with the TV partners over those last couple months to put out the TV schedule and how that kind of process works, right, with the draft and everything else. We're got the MW Plus coming on online. We have 21 games with there, so you'll start to see kick times come out. I think a few of them have. So it's kind of a process that's kind of 6 months, 7 month process, and then we have Fox with some 12-day picks, and so there'll be a little bit of nuance there with the game. Like again, we know the game, we know the network. It's just a matter of
what time they're playing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. So no, we're truly. You get to that Memorial Day weekend, and then you get this, you get the TV portion of it out, and you feel a little bit better, and then
you took a deep breath, I'm assuming, right?
After that was done. And then you're really, again, this MW Plus platform is something we're truly trying to build, and it's going to be great. It's like a startup, right? But it's going to be great, and there's a lot of effort and work that's been put into that.
And the interesting part about it is, for how I understand, the amount of subscribers that attach themselves to a specific team, that revenue will go to that specific team.
That's right. Truly, the fans can invest in their own team that way. Yep.
How much have you had to maybe explain that or understand, okay, this is – because I've seen there are a couple national stories about it when it launched on July 1 about how big this can be and how unique it is considering in the large, broad aspect of college athletics right now. Yeah,
the model is, and that's what we love about it, and I know the commissioner will address that. And we talked to our coaches, we talked to our communications directors about it too, and our entire membership, our ADs. We're giving updates whenever we can on their monthly calls, and but I think the excitement from this to the uniqueness of being able to invest in that, and that all goes back out to the schools, I think is something that is
since the last time we talked, North Dakota State became bowl and playoff eligible. That was passed through the Division I cabinet and the FBS Oversight Committee. Can you describe the Mountain West role, your role in facilitating or at least helping that get over the finish line?
Again, it's all football oversight related, right? And then it goes to the D1 cabinet. So we have a lot of good relationships. I think from our standpoint, and really more Gloria than anybody, talking with those constituents and truly explaining, hey, here's the investment level now, things are a little bit different than they were 2-3 years ago. Going forward, the opportunities for student athletes, if you earn it on the field, you should be able to, move forward in postseason. I think that really helped push a lot of those folks to a better understanding of just the differences and the nuances from previous years.
How big a deal was it to have that go through? I saw the league put out a couple of things on social media, how excited they were for it to have now another team potentially not only be bowl eligible, but also eligible for the conference championship game and the college football playoff.
Yeah, no, from our standpoint, we were thrilled. I sent a text to Matt Larson right away, right? He's on D1 Campus.
Yeah,
but,
he's in the room. Yeah.
He's in the room. But no, it was we had a Teams chat going with our staff, and obviously we were thrilled. We had met with our board in Santa Fe a couple weeks prior to, and then from that point we felt pretty good about where that vote was going to go, but you never really know. And when that came down, I think we all were just over the moon, truly.
Visited briefly with Gloria yesterday. I believe the bowl lineups are going to be announced today.
Yep.
That's a brand new world also for North Dakota State football fans. Can you explain the selection process as basically as you can of what bowl selects what team? It doesn't necessarily, sometimes a league tie-in doesn't necessarily mean they go to that bowl. Is that accurate?
Yeah, no, that's accurate. It's different. Honestly, it's different by conference. And this year will be really unique. I guess you would say a rollover year.
Like a stopgap year,
exactly,
right? Yeah,
exactly. All the contracts ended this last bowl season. The CFP format is kind of still in flux, obviously. I think we all know that.
Yep.
And the challenges there. But that makes it a little bit harder for the bowl folks and our bowl partners to, what's the future going to look like? So, I think all conferences got on board with, let's push pause and get through this year with our contracts and do a rollover. A little bit unique for us, right, with the membership change and just some of the bowl partner change. But we have such a good relationship with our partners at ESPN Events and Clint Overby over there, and that we worked with them, and we feel pretty good about where that whole lineup is going to change. But yeah, when we get to it, the Bulls are working with us, but they have their list that they're looking at, and it's kind of a process by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of selection, not necessarily if you go win here, you're going to this bowl or whatever it may be.
John, is it also, from what I've been told, amount of fan interest and obviously attendance? If they know a certain group of fans, let's just use NDSU fans, will travel, does that make them more appealing for a potential bowl selection?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Really more so from the standpoint of, obviously there's ticket sale aspect of it and everything. But yeah, from that, the bowl have the opportunity to, when they get to their selection, to select, and they'll work with us, obviously, on which team they would prefer.
How much are you involved in that?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. We have our team. Gloria, Brett Gillen, our deputy commissioner, myself, were that Sunday after championship weekend. We're kind of in there just like every other conference and kind of working through the whole landscape.
You kind of like slamming your fist on the table like, hey, we think this is the best team to go to this potential bowl game?
No. It's more just, hey, we're working with each other to make sure all the puzzle pieces are working with, the geographical fit, what the bowl partner needs are. So, yeah, no, it's a very collaborative process on that, and then we're keeping our teams up to date.
You ever run into a situation where, hey, we have more teams than bowl slots, and what happens there?
Yeah, we've had that before. Luckily, the ecosystem has really evened out. There's 82 slots, 41 games, 82 slots, and we haven't had a situation in a few years, I suppose, where we've been over. Really just backfilling with some of the 5 and 7
teams, right?
Exactly. So you're working to place all of your at least 6 and 6s into any of those bowls, and that's where having great relationships across the industry with ESPN Events and a few others, and really helps us.
Last thing before we let you go, and I appreciate you doing this. I tried to stay away from scheduling talk as best I could because we hammered that the last time. On the CFP expansion for the Mountain West Conference in the Group of 6, can you have a voice in that and say, okay, if they are going to go to 24 or even to 16, to make sure we still have a spot? I know it's contractually obligated to have a seat at the table. How loud of a voice can the Mountain West Conference have in that?
That's probably a better question directed for the commissioner. But again, she's in there with the other 9 commissioners, and they're working through that. I know she'll probably get into details on that maybe later, but yeah, we're always fighting for it.
I really appreciate you doing this. What else official duties here that you have over the next couple days?
You know, we got the coaches meeting today.
Okay.
You know, so we got our 10 head coaches.
That's quite the group of coaches there.
Yep, exactly. So we'll get through. We're going to talk about a few national issues. You know, with the oversight committee items, the calendar, a couple other things.
That's a good one. On that, with now the season potentially could start earlier in terms of off-season practices. How big a deal is that to change up everything?
Really big.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think you're going to get a difference of opinions depending on the coach you ask. You know, you have 138 head coaches in FBS, and I think you're going to get a little bit of a difference of opinion based on, you know, location, conference affiliation, wherever it may be. Everybody kind of has a little bit. But we're trying to just get our group and provide our feedback for the football oversight to make the best decision they can.
I'm interested. There's a couple on that, and that's topic for the coaches tomorrow. I'm going to ask. The portal window going down to 10 days is really interesting. But on the field, that OTAs and those would be basically allowed if this goes through in August. And it certainly looks like week 0 is done, that now week 1 is going to be the last week in August, which you guys have really bought into that over the years. Week 0, Mountain West has really flooded the zone on that. I'm interested for everybody in the pool how that changes for different broadcast windows now that they have more games available for that last Saturday in August.
Yeah, we're no stranger to week 0, right, in the Mountain West. Having that Hawaii exemption, having Hawaii in the league, we've been used to it.
Yes.
It's been a great window for the Mountain West. It'll be a little bit more, you know, flooded, right, with being opened up to all. I think the biggest thing from our standpoint is just managing where those non-conference games, how they're going to move up, and then how that affects the rest of the schedule. Because, you know, you're trying to fill gaps now in possibly week 1 or week 2, but that opens up an opportunity for a second open date for us to manipulate on the schedule, or at least help out where we can to relieve some pressure in the schedule. So I think it'll be good. We've been used to it. Like I said, I think the other conferences will
got to get on board, right?
No, and I think they'll from a scheduler's perspective, I think most prefer that. You know, the season piece of that, you know, that's probably a different discussion.
Great to see you, bud. Thanks so much for doing this. Appreciate it. Thanks for hosting us, all right?
Absolutely.
John Sullivan joining us, Associate Commissioner here for the Mountain West Conference. We'll take a break. We come back. We'll wrap up our first hour. You see everyone getting assembled. The Commissioner going to speak at the top of the hour. We'll carry that live for you here as Hot Mic continues live from Las Vegas. We're back after this.
And back to Sioux Falls now. In Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day, where Midwest Sports Plus reporter Zach Borg was out and about talking to folks, including a really interesting conversation with Missouri Valley Football Conference Commissioner Jeff Jackson.
Changes in the air at 2026 Missouri Valley Football Conference Media Day. After all, for the first time in 4 years, the reigning FCS national champion doesn't hail from the Valley, and there's a notable team missing from the proceedings. However, Commissioner Jeff Jackson insists the one thing not changing is the Valley remaining the top conference in the FCS.
I thought we had a great year, and I think the important thing about the year is that we had different participants. You know, we've got a wide swath of outstanding programs, and I think last year proved that. No question that North Dakota State was a great partner, but again, as we were just talking about earlier, considering who was playing in the championship game, whether it's an Illinois State, whether it's a South Dakota State, whether it's a North Dakota, whether it's a Southern Illinois, UNI, we've got plenty of good teams, so I think we'll take the opportunity to fill that vacuum.
NDSU's expedited move to the FBS made it easy to forget that many had been expecting different kinds of change within the Valley. After agreeing to a partnership with the Summit League, which could extend memberships into both conferences in the summer of 2025, there had been anticipation that the Valley might expand. Though that hasn't come to pass more than a year later, it will allow a true round-robin schedule, with all 9 teams playing each other in conference play for the first time since 2019.
I think there's always been that maybe controversy of, hey, who do you miss? You know, who don't you play that year? Does that help you be able to be a league champion? Now there's going to be none of those questions at the end of the season.
It's just one of the reasons those in the Valley aren't in a hurry to expand.
I'm not sure we can be in a better position in terms of just creating the right mix in terms of competition, opportunity for everybody to play each other, and we're not seeing a negative impact in terms of how teams are selected for the tournament. So certainly I think our board, and when I refer to our board, that's our presidents and chancellors, if an opportunity came around that they were excited about, I'm sure they would take advantage of it. But right now, I think the MVFC is in a very good spot.
Yeah, obviously, you're looking to add somebody that can competitively compete on a week-to-week basis. So you got to bring your lunch pail every single week in this league. So to make sure that we add somebody that is going to be competitive week in and week out, and then obviously the travel portion of things is critical, that we're not gone too long, right, or getting back too late. I think would be very, very important as well.
As illustrated by the climb Northern Iowa, Indiana, and Murray State are facing after each winning just one game last year, despite off-field investments from their schools.
As I always say, it's like if you took the 4 or 5 best teams in the SEC and the 4 or 5 best in the Big Ten and combined a conference, that's what we're dealing with. But I tell our guys every week, it's a lot of smart, tough, dependable football being played in this conference, and we've got to be at our best to even give ourselves a chance.
For the rest of the Missouri Valley, it may well be dubbed the Year of the Quarterback, headlined by reigning FCS Walter Payton Player of the Year, Bo Brungard, who spurned several FBS offers to return to Youngstown State.
What a run from the Youngstown quarterback!
I just felt led in my heart to stay home, and so I just abided by the Lord's will. My dad played in the 90s, and you hear about those stories growing up, and so it really does mean a lot to me to play for YSU. It's bigger than just me, so I wanted to do it for my town and for the city of Youngstown as a whole. Me and the guys who came in 2022, when we were freshmen, we set out to do something, and we wanted to finish that.
Brungard is one of 6 returning starters under center. He's joined on this year's Walter Payton Award watch list by Southern Illinois' DJ Williams and South Dakota State's Chase Mason, along with UND's Jerry Kaminsky, who raised his profile this summer at the Manning Passing Academy.
It makes you want to elevate your game, and every week there's going to be eyes on you, and you're watching the other guys on film. It's awesome, and that's what you want in a conference, is a deep quarterback room, and I think, like you just said, that's what we have, and it's really exciting to be able to compete against those guys, be able to watch them on film, take things from their game, but then also use what they do to learn from.
When you look at the quarterback play alone in our conference, it's as good as anywhere in the country. I think there's 4 or 5 quarterbacks in our conference that majority of Power 4 teams would have wanted in their conference. So we're in a good spot, and I'll leave the expansion up to the higher ups. I got plenty of other things to do, but would definitely welcome some more competition.
Good. Come what may, Media Day is a time of optimism, excitement, and kinship. For the second consecutive offseason, a program within the conference dealt with the death of a player when 18-year-old Northern Iowa freshman Parker Sutherland passed away in February.
A lot of the Valley coaches, reached out just to give condolences and to let us know that they're thinking of us. And it was funny. I was doing an interview down with a couple Des Moines people before driving up here yesterday, and they talked about, like, are there any coaches that you're not looking forward to having dinner with tonight? And my honest answer was no. I mean, of course we're all competitors and we want to beat each other, but at the same time, it is a bunch of good humans that are coaching for the right reasons. We all want to win, and we know how important it is to do that, but more importantly, the responsibility to impact young people. And I mean, you're a good human, you're a good husband, you're a good father, and this league has a lot of that running their program.
A reminder that no matter the differences in the Valley, the most important things stay the same. For Midwest Sports Plus, I'm Zach Borg.
We hope you enjoyed this special Media Days episode of the South Dakota Sports Lounge. Remember, you can catch John Gaskin's show Monday through Friday and Don Mizzo's show Monday through Friday on SiouxFallsLive.com or MidwestSportsPlus.com. For our South Dakota Sports Lounge crew, cheers.